Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here at the Subi Sanctuary. Today we have something very cool. This will probably be spread out into quite a few videos. It's quite a big project. We have a 1999 Subaru RS Coupe here. She is in okay condition, but we plan to take it a few steps up from that. And we've got some really cool stuff we're gonna be doing with this car. So first we're gonna go through the car, kind of show you guys what we're working with. Alright, here we are under the hood of this weapon here. As you can see, there is no motor. This car has been previously turbo swapped. We do have a motor to put in after. We're gonna clean out this bay. We're gonna paint the bay. The bay, for the year of the car, is decent condition with respect to rust. It's got a little bit of like rust kind of around the spot welds on the shock tower, but not too bad considering its age. Over here, you always end up getting holes around the battery tray, and it is looking pretty good. So this is promising stuff. We're gonna move around the rest of the car here. I'll note as well, these old hoods, on most of them, the domestic ones anyway, are steel, so they can rust, they can get pretty bad. They can get bad in the front where they start to split. This one is quite good. You know, it's got a little bit going on around almost all the little holes, but they also get it pretty bad in the seam underneath here, which this one as well is quite decent. You can just see here a little bit of action starting there, but we should be able to wire wheel that out and stop it. Fender here, don't need to worry about because we're not going to use it. Crouch down, thug life, one love, Y2K. So coupe doors, these are tricky to find in good condition. This is decent condition. Things you want to look at is the bottom seam. I've already looked at it and it is okay. Rockers have been tuned before and they seem to be holding up well. This was like probably 4 or 5 years ago they were done. We didn't do them, but they are holding up well and they will work for what we need. Up here on the roof, you can see it looks visibly good. That is because it has already been replaced. This used to be a sunroof car, now it is not. The roof is good, it looks relatively dent-free, and on top of that, rust-free, which is fantastic. So quarter panel again here, we have a bit of bubbling starting here and here. It might be hard for you guys to see that. We are not actually concerned about this because we're not going to be using this quarter panel. Trunk, however, is something we are going to be using. It is decent. It has a little bit of missing paint here and there that has turned into some surface rust. Underneath it is highly dynamatted, or whatever brand this is. This has probably added a lot of weight. I'm not sure if we are going to be instructed to remove this or leave it, but otherwise the trunk is in a usable condition, so that is good. Then our rear bumper, it's plastic and it's in good condition and it hasn't rusted out. We're also not going to be using the rear bumper. So around to the other quarter here. Inside our gas door is looking really good for the age of the car. That's impressive. This car in general for a 99 Impreza is quite good. There's a little bit of bubbling starting there. I imagine when the car was body worked and painted, this was probably addressed. It does not feel totally like metal. It feels like she's been topped up a little. Down here, looking pretty good. Got a nice dent up here. As you can see, whoever painted it did not take out the window trim, so some of the weather seal has blown away and we've left some of the original blue underneath. Got a nice dent there. And then over to our next door. This one is looking quite good too. I've already checked along the seam, it's decent. The rocker itself looks decent, like it's holding up. I don't know what this black stuff that they painted on with the brush is, but it seems to be doing a good job. We will probably explore more once we start to dig into actually doing the body work of the car. Then here we have another decent fender, which we don't have to use. Now we're gonna put the car up and show you guys underneath. So starting from the front here, we have our rad support in really good condition again for the age. A lot of this car, the components underneath at some point had been taken off and painted and or powder coated. I'm unsure, but they are holding up quite well. Further under the car here, these are the little unibody wings from the frame rail to the rocker here. This one has already been reconstructed and it looks good enough to stay. Along with a lot of the inner rocker and floor here has been reconstructed. This is some of the original floor. It is getting a little bit of surface rust, so we are gonna have to clean that. This is another sub patch they've done here, along with here, and this whole entire strip, which actually seems to be holding up well. Up into the rear, you can see they've done the bottom of the wheel well there, a bit of the inner rocker. Something they missed is the nuts that are supposed to be welded on the inside of this are not there, nor are there holes, and nor is there a bracket from the diff transom to the inner rocker. All right, so now we are over on the front passenger side underbody. This wing was not replaced, it was just tarred over. So she's not looking too good and she's gonna need some attention there. Along the inner rocker, they have replaced this whole section along with a bit of a floor patch here, and it is looking okay. Working our way back to the rear of the inner rocker, same thing. They left out the nuts here and the bracket going from the diff transom to those nuts. Rear frame rails are looking good. Then one little spot I found in the rear here, which was just kind of tarred over, is a hole in the rear back of the quarter panel. So that we will have to tune up. Next we're gonna bring it down a bit. We're gonna take the wheels off and show you guys up in the shock tower. That's another really prone spot on these, or any Subaru in general. Here we are entering the rear passenger wheel well. So we are missing a little bit of car there. Up there it's a little punky for the most part, because what we are going to be doing, a lot of this rear outer quarter panel will be removed, so that is good. Down there you can see a patch that was done earlier and seems to be holding up well, other than it wasn't like sealed very well. Whatever the black stuff was that they put on it was not exactly weather resistant, so we'll probably have to take that back down to bare metal and properly seal it to stop that. Here we are for the money shot. We are up in the rear shock towers. And this one is relatively good. I imagine they probably cleaned it before they tarred it, but it is looking pretty good for the age. Then over to the driver's side as well, you can see there's a patch there. It got a little bit more of the tar stuff, so it is holding up well and no rust bleeding through. I mean, they would have used new metal doing this, so they shouldn't have any old rust coming through. It's just the time that it sat in between. Otherwise, the wheel well looks pretty decent. Again, back here, they're missing a little bit of car. And up there, it's kind of just packed in with cheese, tar, seam sealer, pretty typical. Up into the shock tower, at a glance, it does look okay. I believe this guy has a hole. Yes, so there is a hole. And I imagine the rest is pretty soft if I was to push through it. So this guy will need a little bit of attention there. Here we are inside the car. As you can see, she is packed full of parts. He did also net himself a sunroofless headliner. I am quite jealous. I wish my Coupe did not have a sunroof cut into it. We will be going through the interior, reassembling, etc., trying to make this a complete driving car again before it goes. Alright, well there we have it with our first primary go around of the car. I'm going to cut back with what we are going to install on this car, and we're just going to jump right into it after that.